Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Despicable Me, the worst reviews, the most awful things I've ever done, according to the blogosphere. And this one was particularly amusing because it was about my video called The Worst Piano Concerto Ever by Anyone, or ever written by anyone, or something like that. Yes. And it concerned Heraclius Jabadari's Concerto in A minor, an absolutely atrocious piece of music, which I identified as such, but it's fun. I mean, here's the irony of it. Well, irony is what this person was lacking. Let's get to the comment, shall we? And then we can see just how much, weirdness this involves. It's so, well, it speaks for itself. Here we go. Skipster6198 writes, "The music is bad for sure, but this review is just so mean and malicious that it makes me genuinely sad. So much meaningless hate and snobbery, even mocking the poor guy's looks. Come on, how can you go? How low can you go? At least he tried to compose something instead of just making fun of other people's work." I mean, that doesn't make any sense, does it, logically? But that's okay. "Wish I could unwatch this ugly rant. It qualifies as the worst classical review ever." Yeah. Okay. Let's just be very simple about this. Some people have no sense of humor. Some people have no sense of irony at all whatsoever. Some people are sanctimonious and prudes, and some are all of those things. Sanctimonious prudes with no sense of irony or humor, and that is good old Skipster here. In the first place, if you look at I went back to look at the video because I was shocked. Malice? Hatred? I mean, it's not a shred of either in that video, and I should know. I made it. I mean, I don't hate Jabadari. I don't even hate his piano concerto in A minor. I love it. It's a party record. It's one of my favorite things out there. It's so terrible. And the irony, here's the irony, of which Mr. Skipster has none whatsoever, is that he agrees that the music is bad. So what are you supposed to do? You could either say, "Hello, friends. The Heraclius Jabadari Piano Concerto in A minor is bad for sure. Thank you. See you tomorrow." Or you could have a little good time with it at the badness's expense. I mean, how can he not get that? How is that possible? I mean, this is hatred and malice? Goodness gracious. Life is too short to feel hatred and malice toward any piece of music. I mean, especially a piano concerto. But the funny thing is, or more of the funny thing is, I wasn't even talking so much about the piece as much as, or I was equally, let's put it this way, I was talking about the piece and equally about the performance, the packaging, the presentation. There's the dreadful piano playing of Henri Gourayeb. There's that fabulous picture on the album of him sort of grabbing Charles Munch coming out of a building and saying, "Quick, take the picture," so I get a picture with Charles Munch. Everything about the thing was cheesy and low class and tasteless and wonderful, absolutely wonderful. In fact, I said in the actual review that I actually think it's great. It's so bad, it's fabulous. That was the thing. I mean, that was the whole point, that its badness was its virtue, not a vice. So the idea that there's some sort of snobbery, well, I mean, Mr. Skipster agrees that the piece is bad. If there's any snobbery involved, that's where that would come in. It would be in your judgment of the piece. And he agrees with me on that, so he's a total hypocrite when it comes to snobbery. If he doesn't want to be a snob, then say it's the greatest piece of music ever written. I mean, I really can understand somebody getting upset with me who is a Jabadari fanatic. part of the Jabadari Society of Georgia or whatever, and who, spends all of their time listening to the works of Jabadari. But I don't think there are very many of those people, to be honest. And since he doesn't think it's a good piece of music, then obviously Mr. Skipster's objection must be the fact that criticism exists and it doesn't follow the path that he feels that it should. That you have to be nice when you tell someone they wrote a bad piece of music. Right? Yes, I'm sorry, your symphony is absolutely terrible, but I mean that in the nicest possible way. Right? I mean, good grief. So this is a person of confused mien, obviously, and I'm sorry for that. But, it's funny. Sometimes, older reviews, they pop up. I don't know what happens, whether YouTube sends them to people for some reason or someone comes across it and sends it to all their friends. And then all of a sudden I get comments. They come back. And this one has been trending lately. I'm not quite sure why, but all that shows is that whatever I did, it created publicity for the Jabadari Piano Concerto. It really did. I've probably done more to promote Jabadari's music than anybody in history. and they should all be grateful for that because, of course, naturally, people will listen and they will draw their own conclusions, irrespective of what I had to say about it. But, the accusations there, I mean, the high energy language there, there's malice, hatred, snobbery, vicious, whatever he said. Oh my goodness, it's just such foolishness. But it was fun to read. And these are fun to talk about for the same reason that it's fun to talk about the Jabadari Piano Concerto. Because people feel, and this is the other fun thing, is people feel that if they don't like the way I say something, or the way a critic criticizes, that they then have the right to do exactly the same thing they're accusing me of doing, only far less artfully, I have to say, with far less logic and rationality, and even more extreme. And that's the wonderful, delicious hypocrisy that underlies all of the sanctimonious finger wagging that usually comes my way, and you've seen it a million times too. So there you have it, my friends. Just another way in which I'm, a tumor on the rump of Western civilization. And I can live with that. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. And try out Jabadari's Piano Concerto at A minor. You won't be sorry. Take care.